The Virtual Boys have been playing Nintendo since they were little. These many years of experience have made them experts in the field, or at least they think so. Join them this week as they talk about the Return of the Queen. You're listening to the Virtual Boys Podcast, a Nintendo podcast about Nintendo things by Nintensity. This podcast is done by four friends that talk about anything and everything Nintendo. Check out the website at nintensity.com and be sure to follow us on social media. Be sure to subscribe and share the show with your friends. Oh, of course, enjoy the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Virtual Boys Podcast, a Nintendo podcast about Nintendo things. This is episode 69. I'm your host, David. Accompanied today with James, and Skylar, and Jordan.
We're all silent protagonists. It's amazing.
It's a joke this week.
Wouldn't make a very good podcast.
No, it really wouldn't. Could you imagine just listening to an hour and 10 minutes of just silence? That'd be really weird.
Just listen to John Cage's 4 minutes and 33 seconds. You got it. Just listen to it. Just put on repeat for an hour, and it's perfect.
Just on repeat. Cool. Well, today's episode is going to be fantastic and fabulous. We're going to talk about the return of the Hunter in her new game, Metroid Samus Returns. I'm sure it'll be a great review because we've got quite a few opinions. We'll also talk about... What?
I was just going to say, it's always great when the game's subtitle is a pun.
Yes. Because she really did return. After that review, we'll talk about a topic of retro-style music being made in the modern era. That should make for a fun discussion, especially with our good composer friend, Skylar, with us. Before we start, just want to remind you, our lovely listeners, to check out our Patreon page. These episodes are going up early as a reward for those that support us. You can check that out at patreon.com/Nintensity. And of course, if you want to talk about this episode with us, check out our Discord community at nintendo.city/discord. Well, let's jump right into our first topic. It's that time, the return of the newborn, the entrusted one, the hatchling, the hunter, the protector of the galaxy, the space cadet, the princess. Sammy and Lady is back. She's back. Hooray. And more importantly...
sounds like you're trying to introduce some sort of football player into the arena.
Here she comes, the entrusted one. I'm not going to do that again.
In the red corner, Samus Returns.
Yeah, she's back in Metroid Samus Returns. More importantly, she's back in a 2D environment. Just to put things in perspective with how long we've been waiting for a new Metroid game, it's been just over 7 years since Other M. Like literally a year or 7 years and a month. We'll talk about Other M sometime. Wink, wink.
I think it's been 10 years since the last good Metroid game.
Since the last good one?
Since Prime 3.
I think that has been 10 years.
I think it was 2007, so yeah.
Yeah, that's a very long time. Yeah, 2007. I just looked it up just to double check. But it's also been 12 years since Metroid Zero Mission, which was the last true 2D Metroid. It's been a very long time since we've had good Metroid games, 10 plus years. And she's back. What do you guys think?
So first of all, this isn't a review, right? This is just our thoughts of our first impressions, pretty much.
I guess we should say that.
I guess,
yeah. I haven't finished. Skylar's the only one that's finished it.
Technically, I could review it.
Yeah, well, I guess we could just say that it's just mostly our impressions. Maybe we'll save the full review for another time. I'm not sure how things are going to line up with...
I guess it's also probably a good idea for all of us to mention how far we've gotten in the game so far. I'm at Area 5 at the moment.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm at Area 5.
I'm just about to Area 5, just finishing up the boss in Metroid Collection in Area 4.
I beat the game, got 100%. I'm working on my speedrun fusion mode.
You're ridiculous.
So Skylar's basically the most prepared out of all of us. However,
I figured a couple days ago, I thought we were talking about it, so I just had to,
Hey,
Had to
good
truck
job.
through it.
I feel like we've played, from what I understand, I think we've played enough to give a basic idea of the game, and maybe we don't know how it ends, but I think I can tell right now how
It's
good
a
of
secret
game it
to
is.
everybody.
That's Zelda, Skylar. No, but I agree with James. I think that I'm far enough to give at least some good review thoughts on it. Not a full review yet, but yeah, I played through enough. Jordan, you think you've played through enough to just, give some well-rounded and developed thoughts about the game?
Well-rounded, developed thoughts, sure. I'm just not comfortable enough to give a full review.
Okay.
Especially since I've heard that there's some pretty big stuff coming at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Well, we'll give some of our favorite thoughts. I mean, we've got some time for this topic.
The last half is a lot better than the first half.
Yeah. All right, that gives me something to look forward to because I love the first half.
If that's the case, the first half, yeah, I know. The first half, I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to really enjoy the second half then.
Yeah.
How many areas are there?
Do you want me to tell you?
Maybe just PM me that, actually. Probably shouldn't put that on the...
Yeah.
This isn't a spoiler cast. This is...
this is spoiler free. We'll do a spoiler one another time.
Alrighty.
Because it deserves it, I think. I just wanted to talk about some general impressions about the game first. I'll go ahead and start. I fell in love with the game in the first 15 minutes of me playing it. I know that's really short time to absolutely love a game, but it feels so good to play a Metroid game again, especially since we've waited so long. Do I think the game is perfect as of right now? Not necessarily. There are some flaws that we can talk about in a little bit, but I do really enjoy the game. I think the controls are snappy. I like how the progression has worked. The game is fairly linear, but the original was also linear from what I understand. I haven't actually played it, but I'm really enjoying it. So those are some of my general impressions before we get into specific topics. How about one of you other guys? What are your general impressions?
So I haven't played a whole lot of 2D Metroid, only bits and pieces of them. But going through this, I personally find it to be really enjoyable to have a little bit of direction, a little bit of, you need to be going this way, instead of you end up going a certain way and find out, no, you can't do anything here.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Now wait, where was I before? And sometimes you find those moments, and actually I've heard people say that they kind of miss those moments, and that's why they love Metroid so much. As I personally don't like to get lost. I like exploring, and I like finding new things. However, I don't like going or finding out all that work that I did was kind of for naught when I had to come back to it anyway. I don't know. I guess it's different for each game, but I feel like in Samus Returns, sure, there are places where you have to get super missiles, or you have to have this certain item to do this, but it's not important to the plot per se. All it is, it's like there's a missile expansion behind that door or something or another.
Yeah.
But where the next Metroid is or where you need to go next is just always in front of you for the most part. And there's actually been a couple times where I'm like, wait, where do I go again? And I did have to figure it out, but it wasn't because I was lost per se. It was more of I thought I had to go this way, but it ended up being that there was a dead end. There's nothing there. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I in that way I've really enjoyed it.
Cool. I know that in our Discord, we were talking a lot about this kind of thing, and I know Jordan especially doesn't like much of that hand-holding stuff. Is that right?
I'm not a big fan of the hand-holding. I'm fine with how they implemented the hand-holding stuff for the most part. I'm fine with the hand-holding stuff existing. What I don't like is that it's always there right in front of you, and you don't have the options to just completely turn them off. So at the very start of the game, you get this scanner that basically, it's kind of a creative way to do the map to scan for the map around you. I don't like it because it reveals too much. If it just revealed like a smaller area, maybe I'd be more okay with it. Mm-hmm. But it shows like where every item within like the next, I don't know, 5 blocks in each direction around you.
Something like that.
It's kind of insane the amount of like area it provides.
Yeah, if they had some way to turn off the item, that'd probably be a little bit better.
Well, right, and the problem is it maps it to A. All of your, I forgot what they're called. The special
Aeon abilities.
Yeah.
Aeon abilities. Yeah. So all your Aeon abilities are mapped there, but it's the only one you have.
Yeah.
So later on, you can map it to like the other ones that you get, which are still pretty busted, powerful, but at least they don't like ruin your map when you accidentally hit them. Mm-hmm. And so you have to. I hit the A button multiple times on accident while running through the beginning, trying to like learn how to do this countering stuff because I keep naturally hitting A for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Well, I would do the same thing. I kept hitting A to counter stuff. It just feels like the button you should hit for a counter.
Yeah, because I don't know. That's just kind of how my thumb. I rest my thumb mostly on both X and B.
Yeah.
And then it would just make sense to have A be the melee because then you just roll your thumb over. But that
makes sense.
I play Metroid like I play Super Metroid, so maybe that's just kind of how it is. The way my thumb layout is.
I think if you played a lot of Metroid, it would get kind of hard, or 2D Metroid, it'd be pretty hard to get accustomed to that.
I wish that it would map or allow you to map buttons and turn off Aeon abilities entirely.
Yeah.
Well, you can't really turn off some of them. You have to use in certain areas.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and I actually kind of believe this personally. I think the Aeon abilities add a lot to the game. Mind you, the map thing. Yeah, I can see it for someone who's a hardcore Metroid player that could kind of ruin the experience. But for someone like me who wants the explorative, but kind of gets frustrated sometimes because they're just not good enough. It helps out, and the only issue I've had is like you, I'll accidentally press A, and I use it, and it's like, well, I wasn't trying to do that game, but thank you so much for showing everything or whatever.
Yeah.
As I get like killed by this enemy or another,
because you didn't counter it. Yeah,
right. Or I didn't jump in time or so. It's not just countering. It was a lot of things, and I guess that's just me trying to get used to the controls, and I've gotten a lot better at that. But going to the Aeon abilities, if they weren't necessary, I think that would have made them just like, okay, these are broken, these are pointless.
Yeah,
but
they're not really necessary. There's only like a few parts where you have to use the armor one. I haven't used any of the others.
The armor ones, personally, for my play style, personally, I find the armor one to be nice. It kind of gives me a safeguard, and then the blaster one, you can kill certain. It's the only way to kill certain enemies, and then
is it?
Yeah,
I haven't run into any enemies yet. Then
the flamethrower obstacles. You can shoot
missiles.
You can shoot missiles at those.
You can kill them with missiles.
Are you sure? Because I tried that and couldn't kill them.
That's how I've been doing it.
Oh.
Yeah, it just takes like 10 missiles, but you can kill them.
I have killed a total of 0 enemies with the rapid fire so far.
George, you need a lot more later. You'll use the rapid fire a lot because missiles start becoming, useless against a couple of the
That's
enemies.
fine. I'll just jump around a lot.
I mean, that's fine, I guess. You can definitely try to counteract all of the fireballs, but I mean, sure.
I personally, I feel like the Aeon abilities are nice because they do, in my mind, make them necessary. Even the slow time one, where you kind of need that. Because of how the game sets up certain puzzles and obstacles. If they didn't have those, then it just would be pretty broken.
It become the Zelda abilities in Breath of the Wild.
which I also turned off. But at least in Zelda Breath of the Wild, you can turn them off. You can't turn them off.
But there's a use for them here, though.
I guess I haven't really come across them other than like obstacles that you are required to pass through.
You'll need a few of them later.
I guess. Yeah, go ahead, Skylar. Sorry.
My only biggest concern with this game, I actually like James was saying, I like the Aeon abilities. I thought the way to flesh out the map was a really smart way to give you the map instead of running up to a machine and downloading it, like in other Metroid games. I thought finding it and exploring it, that was pretty cool. Like, you were actually exploring this planet.
But the difference between downloading it from the machine is that it wouldn't show where, like, the really secret areas are.
Right.
Like, I'd be fine if it would just, like, show you, like, the intended path. Like, it would be a creative way to do the intended path.
Yeah.
But it doesn't need to show everything that it does.
That may be true. But
at the same time, I'm still okay with it because one of the big... I like pushing people towards playing Super Metroid a lot because that's my favorite game ever made. And every time I push someone towards Super Metroid, and it's the first time they played Super Metroid, the first thing they always say was, it was fun, but I don't like putting bombs everywhere on the maps. And I was like, well, you get the scanner and all this stuff, and you don't... But I get it. There are people who just don't enjoy finding nuggets as much as I do. I don't use guides. I still haven't, like... I'm the guy with Breath of the Wild that turned off the shrine locator thing or whatever. And I'm going completely blind on that. And that's taking forever.
Yeah.
So I don't like things being revealed to me because I like finding them on my own in my adventure games.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That makes sense.
It's like, my only concern I had with the game was unmappable controls. Just from the sense that a lot of the other Metroid games, maybe not all of them, but a great majority of them have some mappable button features. And
or at least some option to, swap which one is the fire button and jump button. But
exactly, to swap configuration. This one doesn't have that. And I've been reading a lot of reviews and watching a lot of reviewers are like, man, I wish I could use the D-pad. Man, I wish I could do this. And I kind of feel the same way. When I first started playing, I'm like, oh, the stick. But then again, you need it for some of the precision shots. But I'm not that precise with the thing is the problem.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Man, maybe I'd be more okay with the controls if this were on, say, the Switch, where it's not a nub. My finger keeps sliding off the nub or whatever on the 3DS in 3DS times syndrome. Of like when things get like really, really I don't know, dicey, I suppose. And it would just be easier. You have more precision with a D-pad in a 2D plane, I feel. And
well, for motion, you mean?
For motion,
not the aiming that they have you do.
Not the aiming.
Yeah.
But even then, with the aiming, I'd be more okay with the Super Metroid style of aiming than what they have.
The shoulder button that lets you lock it at 45.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Because then I have the option, locking at 45, I can choose to whether move or not move easier than like what you have to do to switch between moving and moving but staying in the locked 45 position in this game.
So yeah, that was my only really big point. And to me, the beginning was kind of bland because you're just like counter, shoot, counter, shoot, counter, shoot.
Yeah, combat is kind of
but
at the beginning of the game.
The game later gets so much better, and you can pretty much get by without having to use the counter at all if you're good enough. Mm-hmm. Which is really nice.
I'm using the counter a lot less now, I'm noticing, as it
same here.
progresses.
Yeah, the further
that's because you can fire a lot faster with the more powerful weapon.
Yeah, the further you get, the less you have to rely on countering.
So, I guess I'm different in all of what you guys are saying, because I like the counter. Not saying you guys don't like the counter, but...
I like the counter fine. I just don't like it being like
that's what I said.
the go-to option for combat.
For everything.
Yeah. I just want to say really quick, I do miss how in some of the other 2D Metroids, not every enemy would charge at you. You know, like they would just be hazards.
Yeah, I agree.
Right,
Anyway, go ahead, James. You go ahead.
So, coming from a guy who's only really played like the first two, or the Metroid... first two Metroid Prime games, and a little bit of, I believe I played a little bit of Super, which I'm going to go play all the way through when I hopefully get the SNES Classic, Jordan. I'm gonna play your favorite game. Just give me time.
Are you getting an SNES Classic?
I'm hoping. Here, you know, I have a receipt. So anyway.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I think they may be easier to find than we may think. But anyway, so you mentioned how oh shoot, I forgot what we were talking about. So you talk about the countering and how you thought the beginning of the game was bland. I felt like it really eased myself into it, and I understood I had to hunt the Metroids, and I had to figure out their patterns going through it, and then each new ability just kind of, I feel when I get the ability, it's like, oh, I'm totally ready for this. I'm ready for the next ability and to progress the game. And at some points I was kind of like, wow, I already have this thing. Awesome. kind of a thing. So personally for me, I felt like the gameplay as a whole has progressed very well. Oh, and you talked about like the D-pad and the control stick on the 3DS. I also have heard some people say they wish they had the D-pad and that they kind of struggled with going into the morph ball, so they end up just tapping the screen instead.
Yeah, mostly when I'm like trying to jump as Samus and quickly move into the morph ball while in midair. That's the biggest problem for me.
I don't have an issue with that. Like I haven't had to tap on the screen ever. The double tap with the pad it works great. Like I don't need the D-pad. And maybe this is because I have not as much experience as other people with the D-pad, but I find having that free range movement of aiming to be a wonderful addition to it. And I control Samus. I feel like I control Samus so well that I kind of baffled that people say they prefer the D-pad. I mean, I understand people have preferences, but it's odd because I just feel like it works so well, and I have had no issues going to the morph ball.
It's just slower inputs is the big problem.
Maybe
it takes
that's just
longer
me because I
to
don't
push
feel
down
that.
and wait for the D-pad to go, or the joystick to go back up so you can hit it down again than it is to just go tap tap.
But I feel like I do that. I don't know. Like maybe I'm just a slower input kind of person or something. But
the biggest issue that I had with the controls, I mean, I feel like I'm a combination of both. I'd love to have the option to use the D-pad because, I mean, when I play games like Shovel Knight or something, I end up switching between both. I'll use both the joystick and the D-pad. If I need, a little bit more precision with the left to right, up and down, whatever, I'll use the D-pad. And I would like the option. But one issue that I ran into is there's this one missile tank. Hopefully this isn't much of a spoiler because it's just a missile tank expansion. But anyway, you're underwater and you have to shoot 2 missile blocks straight up that end up coming back after a short time. And I didn't have anything to move around faster underwater. Yeah, I got it.
Oh, what?
But my biggest issue with that one, I had to rush super fast, but there's this morph ball portion where you shoot the 2 missiles, you go under morph ball, and then you spider ball your way up to go get it as fast as you possibly can. And for the first 15 times I tried doing that, when I would try to use spider ball and go up, Samus would get out of the morph ball and I'd have to reset the whole thing. I was pushing up just barely on the control stick or something, and so it was forcing Samus out of the morph ball, and I had to reset because I ran out of time. And so that was my biggest issue with the controls, is sometimes when I'm in morph ball, I'll get out of morph ball when I don't want to, or I'll get into morph ball when I don't want to because of how it's reading the controls. But I will say that I do kind of agree with James. With this game especially, I feel like I have a lot of control over Samus with the control stick, but I also personally would like the option to use the D-pad when I need to, if that makes sense.
I mean, I guess having the options is fine, but I don't know, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but
you're not offending. It's just fine.
I feel like people get caught up with, the D-pad was so much better, and I understand it was great, and I missed it this way. It was like, but what's what's wrong with this? I
Well,
personally, I don't find an issue.
My big issue is that the way it's set up now is it requires more button inputs to get what you want out of specific things.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's
it's because
why that's why the other one's better. It's just faster when you know what you're doing to have fewer inputs than it is to have more inputs.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this, from Jordan's perspective, comes from the experience of playing Super Metroid so much and these other 2D Metroid games.
They require pinpoint precision.
Yeah,
a lot of
those
points.
games really do. So I can totally understand that.
Well, pinpoint precision, then that's where you get the free range, right? With the
No, because the free range is slower.
Because you hit R,
It's
you
just
aim
too
up.
slow. Like here, I already explained it once, but my biggest issue when you're trying to aim at a 45-degree angle, you have to, in Samus Returns case, choose to either stand stationary, or you have to move in the direction that you are aiming. You can't back upward or backwards while aiming in that direction.
Yeah, and in
I
Super
think-
Metroid...
I think
go ahead.
that it's just trying to change the way you play then. Because if you can't do if
All
if
you're
it's not
doing
the same,
is
then
erasing or
it's different.
limiting the amount of or options you have, which they've also done in other things where they kind of neutered wall jumping in this game.
Yeah.
I like wall jumping.
Well, it's still in the game. It's just in the older games, they purposely made wall jumping so you could do it a lot faster and on the same wall.
Technically, you can still do it on the same wall in this game. It's just way harder. Someone posted a video about it.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen it, but it's more of an exploit now, whereas in Super Metroid, it was designed to be a technique.
Yeah.
And which was great because developers talked about that afterwards. Sorry for divulging or diverting into Super Metroid so much. But like developers later said a few years later, they're like, no, we put that same wall jumping in so that if you knew about it when you started the game, you could get to other upgrades in a different order and, mess with how the map works and play with it in different ways. Like it was a purposeful thing. And in this game, the game's so linear that I guess that's one of the reasons why they took it out.
Yeah, it's
I don't
pretty
know.
linear.
I don't know. I'm not saying that the linearity of this game is bad at all. Like, I really actually quite enjoy it, and it's definitely staying true to the original medium, but maybe that's why. I don't know. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's sorry to be controversial about this, but I guess I just thought I'd give my
it's
my 2
totally
cents in the
fine.
whole thing. And honestly, going forward with like a new 2D Metroid, if they do make it, which I think they will, I would love to have the free range aiming brought back along with the counter. But
Well,
maybe
if they're
that's
going
just
to do
me.
another 2D Metroid, it'll be on the Switch more likely, where you have a second joystick, where I will be fine with the free aiming in that instance. Because then you're not locked into either being standstill or moving in the direction of your aiming. The
Fair
second
enough.
joystick will help the free aiming a lot.
And I understand like having a lot of options to play is important, but
Yeah.
I've just found it's really worked out for me.
I guess that's all we should say about the control scheme.
Well, I have one more thing about the control
go
scheme.
ahead.
This isn't a complaint.
Never mind.
This isn't a complaint, but
Yeah, that's fine.
One of my, I feel like it's a missed opportunity to put the different beams on the D-pad instead of the Aeon abilities. Put the Aeon abilities on the control or on the touchscreen instead,
Touchscreen.
and then have the different
Yeah.
beams on the D-pad.
I have seen a lot of people talk about this. It would make it a lot more streamlined, like Metroid Prime,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Metroid Prime had the visors on the D-pad and the beams on the C-stick.
Yeah,
like
this is
and
actually the first
people are also
I've
saying,
heard of
why
that, but-
can't the beams be mapped to the small C-stick on the new 3DS if you happen to have the new 3DS? Like, some games like I'm thinking Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D, it utilizes the other set of buttons and the C-stick on the new 3DS, but it doesn't require the new 3DS, to be able to play the game. So people are like, why didn't they use some of these other buttons? Like Jordan is saying, why aren't the other shoulder buttons used to lock her Samus's beams at 45 degrees or something? That's something that people have been asking about. Like, then you can have the best of both worlds. You can lock the beam at 45, you can run, you can stand still, you can still use free aiming if you want with the other shoulder button. Why doesn't the C-stick change your beams if you want to just like flip through them quickly? It's just some of these little things where it's like, why didn't you think about this? But, not trying to harp on them. It's just like some ideas that we've had.
Switching between missile to super missile is also one of the most painful things ever. Yeah,
because you have to hold down R and then tap the super missile.
I'm glad they're using the touchscreen, I guess, but I mean, it is kind of a pain to have to tap it, like that.
Performing all these different feats of maneuvering is really like, just in a short amount of time, really cramped my hands. Just playing all over.
Maybe at the very beginning, I don't know if I hurt my wrist doing something else, but my hand was sore, but now it's doing okay. Maybe it just needed to be calloused up or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
I was thinking about it. And honestly, I think the reason why my hands were getting cramped playing on the 3DS is because I've been playing on the Switch so much. I haven't touched my 3DS in a few months since.
That's true. It was kind of like a culture shock, if you will, going back to the 3DS. Down? It's like, whoa.
I've still been playing Pokemon, so.
Yeah, that's fair.
Pokemon's not as intensive as this game, though.
No, it's not.
No. You can hold Pokemon with one hand if you want and just run through. Anyway, so is that all we got on the control?
Yeah, let's talk about stuff we enjoy.
All right. Hey everybody, it's your good friend David hopping in the middle of the episode like I normally do. We're still not sponsored, so this commercial break is just full of reminders, as per usual. I just wanted to remind you to check out our website at nintensity.com, where you can find news, show notes, and so much more. We've been working pretty hard to make sure that we get the best news out to you in a timely manner with some of our own opinions. We've also been working behind the scenes on a few reviews as well as some opinion articles, so stay tuned for those. If you want to help write for the site, share some opinions, you can get in contact with us at contact@nintensity.com. Just let us know what you're looking to do. I'd also remind you to check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/Nintensity. You can also find our Twitter at twitter.com/Nintensity. Both of these profiles are where you can find what we're doing. We post all of the news that goes onto the website, so you can stay up to date without necessarily needing to check the website itself. And we've been posting some funny images here and there, and, just trying to have a good time. Be sure to like and follow us on those accounts so that you can get all of that wonderful news. I'd also like to remind you to check out our Patreon page. I know we plug this a lot, but it really means a ton to us. We've been pushing these episodes out early for those that support us at the $5 or more tier. That's just $5 a month, and you get access to these episodes early, and it's a great way to show your support for the website. Another way to show support for the website and this podcast is by leaving a review on iTunes. I know a lot of podcasters ask you to do this type of thing, but it's to help us get more recognition within iTunes' algorithms themselves. So if you could do that and let us know how we're doing, that'd be wonderful. We'd really appreciate that. That's pretty much all I have today. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. It really does mean a lot. You can tweet about the show using the hashtag virtualcast, and we'll be sure to see it and respond to your questions and maybe even put some of your topic ideas in one of these episodes. Again, that's all I've got, so thank you so much for listening again, and I hope you've been enjoying this discussion on Metroid, Samus Returns, and 8-bit music and chiptune music. I'll let you get right back to it. Thanks! I want to talk first and foremost about the visuals. I think this game looks lovely. I I think that it looks beautiful. It looks really good on the 3DS.
Yeah, like this is one of the games where I'm playing this game like in halfway on 3D or whatever. I'm not getting sick, and I really enjoy the 3D perspective. Like it's not like completely made for 3D, but there's still moments where it works really well. And I'm surprised. Like I kind of expected it to be one of these games where it's like, yeah, it's there, but it's not that big of a deal. But it honestly looks fabulous.
And I mean, going on with the 3D thing, I love some of the backgrounds where you can see like little monsters or rocks falling in the background with the 3D.
Yeah,
it's a really nice
very
effect.
alive.
If you look hard enough, you can see references to other Metroid games.
Oh, I should definitely be on the lookout.
I like seeing dead bodies.
There's those too. I mean, dead Marines and stuff. But near the beginning of the game, if you look in the back, you can see the caterpillar boss from Metroid Zero Mission in the background, like digging his way around in holes and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember seeing that one. There was one where I was looking at the background and like rocks are falling and water started coming out or whatever. It was like, oh no, gotta climb real fast because I thought it was a puzzle.
I had the same response.
There's been a few times where it's like that.
Yeah. Tons of really cool stuff in the backgrounds. To be honest, from watching the commercials, I didn't know how much I would like the art, but then playing it on the 3DS, it just looks so much better than anything in the commercials.
Yeah, because, the commercials have to display that low resolution on the larger resolution screens, and so it doesn't look as good.
Yeah, more pixelated.
But, on your handheld, the little screen that is the 3DS, even though the 3DS XL is fairly large, it looks really good. I really like it, and I think that they nailed the aspect ratio really well, like how much you can see of the room that you're in, like your field of vision. I think that works really well as well. Because I know that, on the Game Boy itself, the screen was so small, and I could imagine this game being really difficult with such a small window.
Yeah, I don't think I ever beat Metroid 2, but I remember playing it not a lot. It's definitely the one I've played the least amount of.
Samus's sprite is so big in Metroid 2.
It's kind of the Sonic the Hedgehog 1 problem.
Yeah.
Where it's always in the center of the screen, and it's massive.
Yep.
So, I don't know. Metroid 2, I remember enjoying it. Some of the rooms definitely look and feel like some of the rooms from the original Metroid 2.
Yeah.
Especially the really big ones, the way they're laid out with the spider ball and everything. You do the same kind of maneuvering.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the map is very, very different. Or I'm just not remembering Metroid 2 very well. It's been so long and I haven't played it that much.
Yeah, going along with the art design, I think they nailed the music in this one.
Oh my god!
I wanted to talk about that too.
Just like with in cohesion with the art, it just brings to life this world so well.
Oh, I cannot tell you.
The remix for Magmore Caverns.
Oh my gosh, that's what I wanted to say. Like, when I first walked into a lava room and that music came on, I was like, oh my gosh, it's back.
That one punched.
I wasn't expecting that music to be in the game, and it was just so good. A lot of the time I don't play on my 3DS with headphones on, but I make sure that I have a pair of headphones for this game just because I want to hear the music and the sound direction. It is so good.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it was the completionist who said, though, that he didn't like how there weren't any Metroid 2 songs put into this game.
Wasn't SR388 a remake?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just quoting. I'm completing the completionist. I don't know any music from Metroid 2.
I'm going to have to listen.
Well, to be honest, though, Metroid 2's music is like... it's not super great. But... Yeah, it's... Yeah, a lot of the beepings of minor and tritones and stuff. Anyway...
I think what amazes me with the sound design, which I love, is... all the Metroid Prime sound effects that they've put into the game, and I honestly, it just kind of makes the Samus universe come together like 3D and 2D are the same. Like, sure, they're like different kinds of gameplay, but they're still the same Metroid and Samus and everything. So it to me, I love the fact that they added a lot of the sounds from the Metroid from the Prime series.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Then, like the first area after you go down off the surface in the first area, I really like that song of the SR388. How it kind of builds into it, and then it goes like dum bum 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 bum, like the kind of, I don't know, the melody's really nice. And then at the end of the game, I'm not gonna spoil it, but that song, it was like, oh my gosh, this is real. It's so great. Oh,
Hey, how's
Yeah, I've been told not to look at the soundtrack on YouTube because it'll get spoiled.
it will spoil everything. It's like the fourth one on the list. Don't do it.
Okay.
Oh my!
Don't.
Well, that's funny. That's funny because I kind of looked at the soundtrack today.
Oh no!
But I didn't.
Don't spoil anything.
No, I didn't. I didn't even realize there was a spoiler in there. So I guess I must have missed it. So lucky for me, I won't go back. I won't go back to it.
Yeah, I have
so
not
good.
opened up the CD. I was very fortunate with the special edition. Just a random aside. Like, I walked into Target and I was like, I'm gonna buy this game because I was buying groceries.
Yeah.
Walk up to the girl that's behind the counters and she's like, I'm like, hey, can I get Metroid, the new game, please? And she's like, yeah, sure. Walks over. Do you want the special edition or the regular edition? I'm like, you have special edition still? She's like, yeah, we only got one and nobody seems to have picked it up. And I took it. I'm like,
Wow.
heck yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I got the special edition, but the disc that comes with the special edition isn't the soundtrack to the game.
Right, it's a sound selection from various Metroid games.
but yeah, the just so everybody knows, the special edition is on Amazon still. You can still get it quite easily.
Go get it. Please,
So-
give Nintendo more money so that they know to make more
Don't
Metroid
tell me
games.
to do that.
We're not getting paid to say that. Don't.
We are not. Like, I'm not getting paid to say that, but seriously. Anyway.
I didn't.
We can't say that until we get paid. Nintendo.
Nintendo.
I don't know. I forgoed the special edition. It's just a CD and a reversible cover, and the CD doesn't have all the music on it. So
But the reversible cover is so nice.
It's so cool. It's really cool.
I mean, that's fine and everything, but I didn't think it justified another $10.
I wanted to show more support to Nintendo, and I thought that was one way to do
I
it.
bought their freaking amiibo.
I did too. I bought the amiibo and the special
It's like
edition.
the one amiibo pack I didn't pre-order when they announced it is the one that you need to play fusion mode, of course. the one that actually does the most for the game it supports.
Yeah.
Did you get your hands on those amiibo?
Yeah, I did. I got them.
Okay.
Got my squishy
too.
Troid.
Yeah, he's like, he is squishy, but he's more like there's just air in there, like, or it's like
yeah,
empty.
it's kind of disappointing.
I thought it was gonna be
I
like,
haven't opened it.
You thought it was
yet.
going to be a gel?
yeah.
Well, gel inside the bubble. The bubble could still be plastic. But
Yeah, the bubble just
Yeah, you wanted to be putty or something.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that. I understand the betrayal.
But even the reactions when people were opening up, like, a day or two ago, they're like, "Ooh, squishy," and it looked like there was something in it. It's like, "Oh boy, I can't wait!" And then I squish it. It's like, "Oh my gosh, I killed it."
The poor Troid.
You took that
You
hunting
really
Metroid
are
thing.
eradicated.
You took that hunting
You're
Metroid thing to
eradicated.
heart, man.
The baby.
It's like, my $30 amiibo. I'm just kidding.
No, I didn't get the special edition either. But anyway, maybe I'll get it, especially if it's up on Amazon still. But that's stupid because I already bought the game. Okay. Point is,
If you already have the game, don't get the special
No.
edition. It is just the disc, and it's on YouTube.
okay. I just like CDs, but at the same time, I'm still
You can
relatively
probably just
new
get the
to
CD
Metroid.
itself on Amazon.
Maybe.
Yeah, for another
Maybe.
$20, maybe.
Yeah, there's probably someone selling it for way more.
Yeah.
Well, wait like a year or so when
Yeah,
people start
good
selling it.
There'll probably be some other CD I want anyway. But I wanted just to quickly ask Skylar, since you mentioned the ending. Don't tell us what it is, but is it good?
It's fantastic.
Really?
It's amazing.
Oh my
the
gosh.
whole last half of the game is just... It's crazy good.
Does it pick up in gameplay or
Well,
story?
gameplay, puzzles, and the ending story bit is great.
Wow. Okay.
What?
Excited.
I have to look forward to that then.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the first half compared to the second half is just like, eh.
Which boggles my mind personally. I find the first half to be a lot of fun. At least from where I'm at. I guess I'm a little over half, I think. But I mean, there's a lot of good moments.
Like, it gets really hard. It gets harder later, but the bosses and stuff that you fight is a lot of fun.
Well, we've already been teased on what one of the bosses is going to be coming up at where I'm at. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Really?
Yeah, there's lots of good stuff.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
I'm excited. So, Skylar, since you finished it, what would you rate the game? Do you have a number score in mind?
Probably about an 8.5.
8.5? All right.
Yeah. I see it's a lot of fun. The controls kind of dampened it for me. In the beginning, kind of was sluggish. But I really like the art and the music, and the ending just totally made up for whatever, gripes I had at the beginning.
Yeah. So it's a great game.
Yeah.
That's what you'd say.
Yeah.
It's classic Metroid, which we haven't really had from Nintendo for quite some time.
Yeah. I mean, I would still say Super Metroid and Metroid Zero Mission are probably better, but...
Well, it's hard to beat Super Metroid.
But this game is really solid, too. It's better than Fusion. I'll say that. Better than Fusion.
And that's all you really need.
Awesome.
So,
well, in a couple of weeks or next week, I don't know. We haven't figured out our schedule for what we're doing in the next couple of weeks, but maybe we'll give a full review of the game, talking about, bits of story, how the game ends, or whatever. I don't know. We'll have to see.
It's funny.
A lot.
I gave Famitsu some crap for their 8s across the board on their review, because Japan typically doesn't rate Metroid very high, and then the next week
they rated Other M higher than Prime 1.
I just don't understand Japan sometimes, but I mean the gameplay was good enough the end anyway. But not better than Prime. Okay, sorry. Focus, Jim. Focus. What shocked me was either today or yesterday. I found out that they gave Fire Emblem Warriors straight 9s across the board.
What?
Yeah, this is a game
Japan.
that is
welcome to Waifu Emblem.
hashed out, and with very little degrees and differences. Sure, there are some differences, but it's basically the same thing over and over again. And you have a game like Metroid where we haven't had a 2D Metroid in a long time, and there's some new things to this, and they give it an 8, which is great. But I mean,
there are Warrior fans out there though that really love their Warrior games.
It's true, you're right. Mm-hmm. And maybe all 4 of those guys were huge Warrior fans, and they're like, "This is a great Warrior game."
Well, to put it on my scale, I bought Metroid: Samus Returns. I'm not buying Fire Emblem Warriors, and I'm a huge Fire Emblem fan.
Yeah, no, we know that.
Yeah, I learned from Zelda Warriors or Hyrule Warriors not to pick this up.
Yeah,
you're right. That being said, I think the 8.5 area may be the right choice. I haven't finished the game, but that's
especially since you haven't done the better part according to Skylar.
So maybe it will. Maybe
it's too soon for numbers.
Maybe I'm just kind of give my impressions here because I did give some flack to Famitsu earlier, and I just kind of wanted to say that maybe that flack wasn't too, or maybe I shouldn't have said what I said. But then again, they go and give Fire Emblem Warriors a 9. It's 9s across the board, so whatever. I guess what does it matter anyway?
I guess it just differs from market because they're a Japanese market. This is the American market. Metroid has always done better here.
Famitsu, they've lost credibility on Metroid when they made Other M an 8.5 and Prime 1 an 8 or an 83 or whatever.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I can't remember the names. 35? It was 35 for Other M. I don't remember.
I mean, there are a lot of people still giving this game 9s and stuff here too.
So far, I'd probably give it a 9 if it continues at the pace it is right now, to be honest. I'm really enjoying it. I just wish that they kind of took more initiative with the controls.
Yeah.
And it's not like the controls are bad. It's just that
they could be better.
It could be better. I still enjoy the controls. You still have a lot of control over Samus, and this is probably one of the most action-packed 2D Metroid games out there. But I feel like I had more control with Super Metroid and Zero Mission.
Yeah.
One last thing I'll say is that even though I haven't finished it, I'm trying to think of games that have come out on 3DS this year, and I think this is probably the game of the year for 3DS.
It's this or Fire Emblem Echoes.
Oh crap! Yeah, hold up, wait, take that back. Don't give the award to Samus yet. No,
not until you finish this one.
Not until you finish that, at least.
And maybe Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon will blow your mind.
No, maybe. No. Hey, maybe. No. Maybe. That is still a definite maybe.
Definitely not. No.
I mean, that poster was pretty cool. I mean, did you see?
I know, right?
You see that poster?
Lily's got a Pokeball.
She's got a Pokeball.
She's
so much change.
She joined Team Rocket.
And the avatars, they show emotion. Yeah.
Oh shoot!
They're disgruntled.
But that was in the poster. Anyway,
I'm gonna be sick.
The way you get your starter now is going to be the most amazing thing ever.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, is it
they're gonna run in?
The professor's gonna get attacked, right? I mean, that's pretty original.
It's going to change your view of Pokemon forever.
Oh, whatever. We'll see how the game actually turns out. Anyway, we talked about Metroid for like 45 minutes or something like that. I love the game. We could probably keep talking about it if we really wanted to, but we'll have to save the rest of our discussion for it for next week or the week after, or whenever we actually finish it and actually review the game, because, you know, we have a buffer before Super Mario Odyssey, right? That's not for another month.
Yeah, and when we review it, we don't necessarily have to like go
do it right away.
Or no. I mean, like go talk as long as we have, because we've talked quite a bit about our impressions.
Well, we'll be able to talk about spoilers, and apparently there's a lot of goodies in the second half.
So basically, the next
100%.
episode will be the second half of Metroid, maybe. We'll
100% this 100% this game. Did you just say that?
Okay, I will do that.
Okay.
But the problem with 100% is you have to kind of beat it first. But I mean,
oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've been spoiled on why already on that.
Oh shoot.
But yeah, so just beat the game.
Don't watch The Completionist. He throws a lot of spoilers at you.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he does have to complete it. Okay, anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Complete it.
All right. So next time we'll talk about our other M. I'm just kidding. We won't. But
maybe.
Those are our thoughts on Metroid: Samus Returns, our first impressions. I think I said review at the beginning of the episode. I am very sorry that wasn't a full review, except in Skylar's case, I guess. Anyway. Let's move on to our next topic. We won't spend a lot of time on this one because it's just a fun little thing that we can talk about really quick, just to give us a little bit of a buffer for this episode. This came through Twitter user @BothEyesMissing. Such a fascinating Twitter handle. He sent this in response to the Super Audio Cart, which is a chiptune virtual instrument releasing soon that has a ton of authentic sounds from, the 8-bit, 16-bit eras of video games that you can use to generate music. So for the next few minutes, I thought it would be kind of fun to talk about your guys' opinions on video games and other media creating this retro style 8-bit / chiptune / 16-bit music in today's world. I don't know, Skylar, do you want to go ahead and go first since you are our resident composer?
Sure. I haven't ever looked at this a whole lot though, like the Super Audio Card thing. I might have to check that out.
I'll send you a link to the release video after the episode.
Yeah, for sure. But I've looked at a lot of things like Family Tracker, which tries to recreate this old sound. It's kind of like this weird little thing that society's done where, because of the older limitation, that's how music sounded on old games. But now they're just doing it for nostalgia and that kind of stuff, which is kind of funny. Like the whole Shovel Knight soundtrack. I mean, Jake Kaufman did a great job with that, and the music's amazing. But it's all done in Family Tracker in this old retro style, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, they actually write the bits so that they could compile the data and it could run on an NES cartridge in the case of Shovel Knight and this Family Tracker program.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really cool.
Exactly. Like this kind of stuff is pretty crazy, and people have been trying to recreate it for years in Pro Tools and Logic and stuff. And you can get it to a degree, but it's never it's not as true as I think Family Tracker is.
Yeah. or nearly as true as the actual sound cards of the consoles.
Right, exactly. A lot of people hunt down those consoles, rip out the sound cards, and try to make their own keyboards and things. Like, people were hunting down Commodore 64s. You need like 4 or 8 of them to even make one of the keyboards.
Wow.
So, like, you'd have to rip this thing apart just for its sound cards. They can cost you about $100-$200 a pop. So, but they want that real, authentic sound. And sometimes it's kind of funny because you can listen to the old, what do you call them? Analog synthesizers, and they kind of get the same sounds going as a freaking what it's called, the just said it, the crap, called the Commodore 64. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, the Commodore 64, that's it.
Yeah, the Commodore it's like they get about the same sounds as the Commodore 64. Like, they had this one episode of JonTron where they played Conan on the Commodore 64, and the beginning has that buzz, like the brrr. He's like, "Oh, that's sweet music," or whatever. But we just recreated that sound the other day in my synthesizer class using an analog synth. So
that's cool.
It's kind of funny just to seeing where music's gone full circle, and now electronic is almost like the new cool thing, even though it used to be a requirement. Yeah, they couldn't really do anything else. They were probably wanting whole orchestrated music, and now we can do that. But everybody's like, eh.
It was a limitation, but now we've just grown so accustomed to it.
Yeah.
Well, they do
we have
say
the nostalgia for it.
They do say that limitation breeds creativity. So
that's true. That is true.
That must be why they're putting Doom on the Switch. I'm just kidding.
Actually, Bethesda came out with this is a tangent, but Bethesda had an interview saying that it wasn't that hard to put Doom on the Switch. It was about as hard as putting it on Xbox One and PS4, they said.
I'm happy.
Just moving over.
Really am.
But yeah, so I love seeing classical chippy tune music. I love that stuff. Most of my iPod library and my SoundCloud, I have a lot of liked chiptune tracks.
Yeah.
Like, I have Killing in the Name of an 8-bit, and like some other stuff that I've tracked down that's amazing. I have Through the Fire and Flames, that kind of stuff. People have really done a lot of work.
Yeah. See, most of my ringtones are 8-bit versions of songs. I mean, I've got some text tones that are not, but I found a really cool 8-bit version, or I guess it's 16-bit, of Mario Odyssey's, whatever the main song is called. Jump Up, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And then I've also got the ARMS theme song, just for fun, plus I don't know. I've got a whole bunch of stuff that's just 8-bit. I also really like it. I think it's a fun way to remix some of this newer music.
Well, look up the theme song for One Punch Man in 8-bit.
Oh, I think I have heard that.
So
pretty
good.
good.
It's so
There's
good.
so many good versions.
that.
See, that's what I'm saying, though. It's like everybody he's still using this chiptune stuff. So in a way, it's not really a resurgence. It's like it's kind of like it's just continuing and developing and growing to the fact where you can get all of these really intricate songs, but then boil them down to their 8-bit bass and go from there. And they still sound amazing. Like, it's just a style now.
Yeah.
Coming from a
definitely
guy.
a style.
Oh, go. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
No, you can go.
Coming from a guy who likes to listen to music but has no idea, how it's made and whatnot for video games. I sort of agree with you with it. It's not really resurgent because we've always liked the chiptune and the sound, the retro sound. But I do think for a while the gaming industry as a whole was kind of, saying no, that's the past. We now we have all of this options for music and games in general that we don't need to have these limitations anymore. And so they were just trying to push that behind, kind of put it behind them for the most part.
Like you said, they were big companies who had started getting a lot of money, so they start hiring out their games. Like Activision with their first Skylanders game hired out Hans Zimmer to make music for their game.
So crazy.
for some reason, they have the money to throw around now, so they do.
Right.
But I mean, even at the same time, companies like Ubisoft, they have these amazing tracks in Rayman Legends, to be specific, of the rhythm levels. Then they do have the high budget to do all the songs, but then at the same time, they also do the 8-bit versions of those songs.
That's true. I think that some of the resurgence, or excuse me, some of the recent work in retro style music comes from people who just played these video games when they were younger, and that's the music that they're nostalgic for.
Yeah,
and I think that's why you see it. And you probably were.
I think there is a bigger push now to having these kind of songs, but I think that push has also kind of been generated from YouTube being accessible.
True.
And the indie game scene exploding.
Yeah,
very true.
That's good insight. Yeah. Well, I love it. I think it's very fun. I'm excited to see how it continues. Maybe they'll start remaking music with the instruments from the N64 just for fun. Like,
with what sound card? I'm just kidding.
You know,
oh, that's right. They didn't have one.
I think it would be fun if we had like a retro style, like Rhythm Heaven kind of a game, where it's kind
That'd
of like bit tracker. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if it would work or not, but that could be.
There's probably something somewhere. It's probably
we live in the
game.
world of indies, so
yeah. So yeah, I think indie games definitely bringing it back. But I mean, even with something like Cave Story, came out back in like 2000 what? I
think it was 2004.
Something like that, where they had all that really chiptune music. It was phenomenal music. I mean, even when I still play Cave Story today, I always turn it back to the original music.
Yeah, the new versions don't do it justice.
They don't like it. There's just something captured with that, with the magic of that, the old chiptune sound.
Yeah, captures the magic. Well, cool. Well, thanks for your thoughts on this retro style music, this 8-bit chiptune, fantastic stuff. And thanks again to @BothEyesMissing. If you want to send in some topic or question ideas for us, just go ahead and tweet at us.
I hope you find your eyes.
_boys. Yeah, find your eyes, Mr. Both Eyes Missing.
They were stabbed out.
But don't forget you can tweet about the show using the hashtag #virtualcast. It'll be sure to come to me. Awesome. So let's now finish up the podcast by talking about the games that we've been playing this week. This is a segment that we do where we talk about games that we play so that you don't just listen to us talk about Nintendo news and other things. But clearly I've been playing Samus Returns, and I've also been playing Splatoon 2. I know, such a change from last week. But I've just about got all of the hero weapons. I guess I've got to finish up the final area in the single-player campaign. Get that cleared up. That's all I've got left in Splatoon 2. I think I've hit 115 hours now logged into that game. I'm a sucker.
Jeez.
But yeah, also playing Samus Returns. All right, that's me.
I've been so busy with this week that Metroid's all I've been able to fit in my schedule. And we already talked about that.
Oh, we did? I forgot. Just kidding. It was like 45 minutes of our episode. Anyway,
Yeah.
Cool.
And I played 2D Metroid Genocide Edition.
What? Where did you get that?
Man, I don't know. Yeah,
I want a copy of that.
it just showed up in my mail. Anyway.
Oh.
But yeah, I played a little bit of. I played Mass Effect. Finished. Well, I didn't. Well, I guess I said that last week though. I finished it, but this is a Nintendo podcast, so.
Yeah.
You know, it almost made it to Nintendo. The third one was on Wii U.
Yeah, the third one's on Wii U, but that's like 1/3 of the series. So.
And you can't import any data.
So. Yeah. So what's the point? This time the time I restarted just now, I'm doing decisions that I choose instead. I was doing a straight Paragon / Renegade run.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So surprise, surprise! Samus Returns for me.
What?
I
No
know,
way.
right? Me playing a Metroid game. But
Never.
I've been really trying to control myself recently because the hype for Super Mario Odyssey and Xenoblade is too real for me that I've been like trying to control myself from playing Super Mario Sunshine and Xenoblade. So what do? I'm going through Xenoblade X. What? Chronicles X. So what? How does that make any sense? but honestly, I barely got into New LA. So
okay, so you're really early.
I'm super early, and I don't know if I'm gonna have time at all in the upcoming months, but I had time before Samus Return got here, so I just popped it in and played as much as I could. But yeah,
there you go.
I tried to control myself, but I couldn't. So I decided to do a game I haven't completely beat yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to Pokken and Gold and Silver tomorrow.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
As of this recording, even though I probably won't have time to play any of them because of projects.
Yeah, same boat here. I've got to finish. I have too many games I have to finish already. I have a huge list.
Yeah, that's why
I have 4 tests on the same day next week.
That's so gross. I'm so sorry for you.
Well, good luck.
Yeah.
Remember me in your will.
One of the professors assigned a quiz on the same day that he has the test.
What?
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Jordan's life is busy, so yeah. Anyway, I think that'll do it for this week's episode of the Virtual Boys podcast. Thank you so much, you lovely listener, for joining us. We've had a fun time talking about Metroid: Samus Returns. It's a good episode. Yeah, and your support means a lot.
Indeed, it was a good episode, and talking about retro style music and remixes, kind of it brings to mind a certain music video game composer. Really? Skylar, yeah. He actually composes the music for the podcast, and it would mean a lot to us if you went to his SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Skytar, and it's a 5 instead of an S. So give him a listen, and this time I'm gonna recommend Love Gone, which is an original work of his. I hope I said the right title. And it's actually one of my favorites. It's really moving. I like it.
I need to draw a picture of my face on a cactar.
That's right.
Wait. Have you done that yet or no?
No, I need to, because my current picture is just a picture of the Wario Land Shake It Wario. So okay, I need to draw my face on a cactar, and it'll be beautiful.
It will be.
Then my name makes more sense.
Great. And I'd like to shout out to our Patreons, Chris and Chase. Your support means a ton. If you want to join them, go to patreon.com/NintenCity. Remember, the episodes go up early as a reward for those that support us.
And I'd like to invite you to join our Discord community. We're trying to set up a fun place for people to visit and hang out. So head to nintendo.city/Discord to join us today.
And thank you so much again for tuning in to the Virtual Boys podcast this week. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. We'd also remind you to check out our website at nintendcity.com, where you can find news, show notes, and oh so much more. This week's show notes are at nintendo.city/EP69. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye!
See ya.
Goodbye, you good people.